Alright, Vikings faithful. Let's dive into the latest Purple Pride updates. Skol Nation, how you holding up out there? It's March 23rd, 2025, and the Minnesota Vikings are cooking something special for the future. Today, we're breaking down some electrifying news that's got every fan buzzing, new weapons for our squad. Picture this. A roster already primed to win, now adding speed, strength, and pure freak athleticism. Ready for the teaser that'll hook you in? We've just signed a powerhouse wide receiver, and we're eyeing another in the draft. Buckle up. This is Vikings news at its finest. Let's set the stage. The Vikings are heading into the 2025 NFL Draft with a clear mission. Grab developmental prospects who can grow into stars. Our roster? It's loaded, ready to compete now, but there's a sneaky gap at wide receiver. Jalen Nailor, our 2021 sixth-rounder, has had his moments, but consistency? Not quite there. So what do? We go big, of course. The front office isn't messing around. They've already made a splash, and there's more on the horizon. Who's ready to hear about the new blood joining the purple and gold? First up, let's talk about the guy who's already inked his name with us, Rondale Moore. This dude is a 5'8" dynamo who squats 600 pounds like it's nothing. 600 pounds. That's like hoisting a vending machine. Back in his Purdue days, the Athletics' Bruce Feldman dubbed him one of college football's wildest freak athletes. He's fast, he's tough, and now he's a Viking. But here's the kicker. Moore missed all of 2024 with an injury. Can he bounce back and light it up for us in 2025? What do you think, Skol fans? Drop your predictions in the comments. Now, Moore's arrival is huge, but the Vikings aren't stopping there. They've got their eyes locked on another speedster, Monterey Baldwin from Baylor. Picture this. It's the Big 12 Pro Day, March 23rd, 2025, and our very own Ben Goesling from the Minnesota Star-Tribune is on the scene. He spots Viking scouts chatting up Baldwin, and why wouldn't they? This guy's 5'9", 168 pounds of pure electricity, clocking a 4.32-second 40-yard dash. That's not just fast, that's Vikings fast. But what's his story? Hang tight, we're diving deeper. Let's rewind to Baldwin's resume. In 2024, he landed at number 42 on Feldman's freak list. Yeah, he's that kind of athlete. He didn't quite hit his 2023 peak of benching 400 pounds. Imagine lifting a motorcycle. But he still pressed 365, more than double his body weight. His GPS clocked him at 23.16 miles per hour. Folks, that's a blur on the field. In 2023, he led Baylor with 38 catches, 623 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Speed? Check. Strength? Check. Explosiveness? Double check. So why's he not a lock for day 1 or 2 in the draft? Here's the scoop on Baldwin's game. He's a deep threat who can turn a short catch into a highlight reel sprint. Perfect for yards after catch magic. Tackling him? Good luck, he's built like a tank despite his size. But there's a catch. Pun intended, his route running needs polish, and his hands can be inconsistent in traffic. Scouts see him as a day 3 pick, maybe a 5th or 6th rounder because of those raw edges. Does that scare off the Vikings? Not a chance. We've got a secret weapon up our sleeve. Enter Keenan McCardell, our wide receivers coach and a wizard with talent. This guy's one of the best in the biz, and he's got a track record of turning rough gems into polished stars. Imagine Baldwin under McCardell's wing, those shaky hands? Fixed. That limited route tree? Expanded. Suddenly, we're not just looking at a developmental prospect, we're talking about a future playmaker. Vikings fans, can you see it? A Moore Baldwin duo stretching defenses thin? Tell me that doesn't get your blood pumping. Now, let's dream big for a sec. Baldwin's not a surefire draft lock. Some teams might sleep on him because of his size. But what if he slips through the cracks? The Vikings have a history of striking gold in undrafted free agency. Remember Adam Thielen? Undrafted. Star. If Baldwin goes unpicked, don't be shocked if Minnesota swoops in with a fat offer. Picture the headlines. Vikings snag another hidden gem. Skol Nation, would you root for that move? Let's hear it. Alright, let's zoom out and look at the big picture. Our wide receiver room already boasts Justin Jefferson, arguably the best in the game, and Jordan Addison, a rising star. Add Rondale Moore's freakish athleticism and maybe Monterey Baldwin's raw potential, and what do you get? A nightmare for defenses. Kevin O'Connell's offense thrives on speed and shiftiness. Moore and Baldwin fit like gloves. But here's the question. Are we overloading on smaller, speedy guys? Or is this the perfect recipe for 2025 dominance? Let's break down Moore's fit real quick. At 24, he's still young, but that 2024 injury lingers like a dark cloud. When healthy, he's a catch-and-run menace, think 40 receptions, 400 yards, and a couple scores in his Cardinals days. Pair that with Jefferson's deep routes and Addison's versatility, and Moore could be the spark we need for a WR3 role. Vikings faithful, do you trust him to stay healthy and ball out? I'm dying to know your take. Now, Baldwin's ceiling is tantalizing. That 4.32 speed could stretch the field, opening lanes for Jefferson and Moore underneath. His 2023 stats, 17 yards per catch on average, scream big play potential. But those inconsistencies, they're the suspense in this story. Will he be a steal or a project? The Vikings' draft strategy is all about taking swings. Baldwin's the kind of gamble that could pay off huge. What's your gut saying? Fans? Let's talk intangibles because that's where Vikings magic happens. Baldwin's got toughness. Benching 365 pounds at 168 proves it. Moore's got grit. Squatting 600 pounds isn't for the faint-hearted. These aren't just athletes. They're warriors. In Minnesota, we don't just want stats, we want heart. Skol Nation lives for players who bleed purple. Do Moore and Baldwin have that fire? I'm betting yes, but I want your vibes in the comments. Picture this scenario. It's late in the draft, day 3, and Baldwin's still on the board. The Vikings' war room is buzzing. Do we pull the trigger? Or do we wait, hoping he falls to us as a free agent? The clock's ticking, the tension's thick. This is Vikings news at its rawest. Every pick before us feels like a dagger. Then, boom, Minnesota calls his name. The crowd erupts. Sound fun? Tell me how you'd react if we snag him. Fast forward to training camp 2025. Moore's healthy, flying around the field. Baldwin's soaking up McCardell's wisdom, hauling in bombs. Jefferson's grinning ear to ear with all the speed around him. The Vikings' offense looks unstoppable. Fast, physical, fearless. That's the vision, Skol Nation. Are we building a dynasty? Or is this just off-season hype? I'm all in, but I need you to weigh in. Hit those comments hard. Alright, Vikings family, we've dissected the Moore signing and the Baldwin buzz. It's time to wrap this up. The purple and gold are making moves, and I'm hyped out of my mind. From Rondale's freakish strength to Monterey's blazing speed, we're stacking talent for a monster 2025. So what's the play? Smash that like button if you're pumped, drop your hottest takes below, and subscribe if you're not already in the Skol Squad. Share this with your crew. Let's get the Vikings conversation roaring. Skol forever.